Welcome to Reality Hour. I'm Adam Samuel. Today, it is week 2 of live shows for America's Got Talent. We are going to be going through the contestants, the news in the AGT sphere, and all that. Joining me for this discussion is my co-host Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. Now we got the tech issues worked out. We're gonna get through this shit fest of a AGT show.
I just finished watching the AGT episode before we went live. Very weird episode, Eric. Very strange things going on.
If by strange you mean terrible, then yes.
What has happened to this show, Eric?
I don't know, but it's just God. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about how disappointed I am with this week's episode. I just want to get through it so we don't have to talk about it again.
Well, hold up, because last week when we went live on Reality Hour, we talked about how there was a petition for Heidi Klum to get binoculars. Has there been any updates there? Have you checked on the GoFundMe? There's been anything?
No updates on that. Let's move on.
All right, we got to get someone on that. I still think it's something that needs to happen. All right, well, before we get into the contestants, the performances, anything, Eric, I will admit I've been a little bit unplugged from the AGT rumor mill, the gossip, what's been going on. So tell me a little bit about what's been going on. What have I been missing? What's going on with America's Got Talent? Because I've heard there was some news recently.
Was there?
About like a special guest maybe joining the show for an episode.
For next week, you mean?
For this week. It was a segue.
Or was it? I was confused by that segue. Oh yeah.
Oh, that I ruined that then. My bad.
Because you said that you watched this week's episode already, so that doesn't make sense that you wouldn't know what's happening with the guest.
I'm sorry. I spoke bad, Eric. Sometimes I don't talk good. It's been a long day.
The show doesn't work good. So.
Okay, so we had our special judge on this week, Kenan Thompson. Eric, how do you think he did?
I like Kel better. I'm kidding. That was a stupid joke. He did fine. He didn't look like he really wanted to be there, which is good because I wouldn't want to be there either. If I can relate to that because I wouldn't have wanted to be there if I was watching these kinds of acts too. So
everything about this episode, like each act, there was something just strange about it, where something just didn't seem right. And I, like I said, I got that for like almost every contestant. And honestly, like watching this episode, I was trying to think, who's like the favorite here? Like who are we going? Like who's got the eye on them? And I kept thinking it was Jonathan Goodwin. Do you think that was a correct read here, Eric?
Maybe. I mean, none of these acts are gonna win. This was a week full of people. I don't think I'd be shocked if more than one of them made the top 10. I'd
be more than shocked if. Well, I was gonna say if any of them made the semifinals, but I guess by default they had to make
the semifinals. But if we mix this act, if we did 44 acts, and any of them can be in the top 20, and there's no limits on numbers, none of these acts would have made it. I don't think. Maybe one, maybe two.
I will say my favorite thing about this episode, and it's such a weird like Twilight Zone of America's Got Talent. I love the backgrounds for the contestants who aren't there perform. Like that was the highlight of me. Like some of these places were really cool, Eric.
Yeah, sure.
You can tell it's bad when Eric has very little to say about this. Have we got? What was that?
Go ahead.
Have we gotten any updates on Simon Cowell? I mean, we heard he hurt his back. Is there been any news about him maybe coming back to the show?
He probably will be back by the finale, is my guess, but not before then, is my guess.
Yikes. Okay. So we had 11 performers this week, right?
Yes. I should probably look up the results, even though I can pretty much guess them, but...
You didn't look at the results?
I did, but I didn't write them down, so I'm pulling them up right now.
All right. Well, while Eric does that, I want to thank our viewers for joining us. Let us know in the comments who you are rooting for this season, or if there's no one you're rooting for this season. Two of my favorite contestants got kicked out before the live shows even started, and I've got one last horse in the race, Golden Buzzer, going forward. But yeah, it's just not the same. I don't know what's going on. It's missing the sauce, the AGT kind of the special stuff that makes it good. The show just feels very.
They swapped out the special sauce with diarrhea or something. I don't know.
I was gonna say like bargain meal, like sauce, but you had to go straight to diarrhea. I mean, you just had to take that.
Well, this whole show is getting flushed down my toilet. So, anyway.
All right. Well, I guess you just want to get into the deep dive, Eric. You want to just
let's just get through this one, and then we'll talk about the good stuff that's coming out next week, maybe, and the week after.
God. All right. Well, first up, we have Kelvin Dukes. He is our kid dancer. He's 14 years old. He is performing Valerie.
He's a singer.
I was just reading off the kid singer. I apologize. Well, he did a dance also. He
danced, but he was primarily a singer.
All right. But he's doing Valerie.
I read MJ's blog because she made that mistake, and I noticed it. So.
Well, that's awkward. Eric calling me out over here. Yeah, he's doing Valerie. The stage was pretty cool that he performed it behind.
Yeah, I mean, it was just part of the Universal Studios lot. I mean, the thing about this was that I really liked his audition, and this was such a letdown compared to it that, yeah, I'm not mad that he's gone. I mean, I'm kind of sad, but, you know.
Eric, how did we get here? Going into this week, I would have thought Kelvin would have been one of the
top 10
locks to make it through, and now he's just gone. What happened?
Yep. The art of the bad song choice, and it's that simple.
The thing is, if this had been like an American Idol performance, this would have been like a B- for me. Like, it was just nothing. It just felt like karaoke, if that makes any sense. The dance was cool. I thought the dance was actually the strongest part of the performance.
Maybe
but as a whole,
to call him a dancer, not a singer. Who knows?
Maybe MJ was right. Maybe she was predicting.
Okay. I mean, I enjoyed his audition. I don't think this was good enough to get him through, so I'm not surprised he's got cut.
Yep. All right. Well, we move on to The Shape, which is a dance crew, which apparently they were. Did we see their audition during the?
We did not see their audition.
So I feel so bad for these guys because
they were a goner regardless.
They were a goner regardless, but like you could tell they tried. Like they really put in an effort, but it's not an act that could do well. Like it's not a.
And that's why they weren't shown in the first place. But you know.
And it's such a bummer because how many were there? Like 20 of these people? Can you imagine the hours they put into this?
A lot.
Just to go, and they were pretty like looking at it objectively, like not as an America's Got Talent act. They were fine. Like if I'm walking down the street and I were to see them, I would probably like stay and watch. This is more like a problem with just America's Got Talent, where it's just so unbalanced, and these guys never had a chance. Kelvin had a chance if he had the right song.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is.
Yep.
All right.
Let's talk about the first masterful busing of AGT season 15, shall we?
I want to take a little credit here because I feel like I pretty much called it, like from the audition. I think I saw this one coming pretty quickly. Cameron Ross, he's a country singer doing A Million Reasons. So I will say there were moments of this performance that reminded me so much of Scotty McCreery, like weirdly reminded me of him. But as a whole, first of all, strike one being it's The Greatest Showman. You know he didn't pick this song.
It's not The Greatest Showman.
I confused it with Never Enough. It was A Million Reasons. But, it's still the same kind of problem where it's just not in the wheelhouse, where like
It's actually
we didn't
not
pick this
a
song.
problem. Million Reasons is the most country-ish Lady Gaga song there is. The song choice wasn't necessarily the problem. I mean, it was a problem.
I was going to say step two was he didn't sing it well.
Yeah, that was the problem. The problem was not the song choice necessarily. I mean, it kind of was, because it didn't give him any opportunity to show off, considering how definitive the original version of a song is, and how it's very much just one note for most of the song. And for most of the verses, it's just one note over and over again. But, it's a good song. I like it. I didn't like this. I thought this wasn't good. And yeah, I thought I agree. I did kind of feel bad for him. But
the thing is that they pushed him so hard because of his story, but they at the same time didn't realize that he didn't have the talent to back it up.
They did realize it. That's why they pushed him. They exploited the story, and then they got rid of him while they could.
Well, that's the AGT machine for you. They suck out the story, and then once they're done,
they no longer had a use for him. So
yeah, I will say I was kind of expecting him to go through. Like I feel
after this,
different song choice. What?
After this performance?
No, going into the episode, I was kind of
going into the episode. That's fair.
But no, that's kind of how it is. Anyway, let's move on to Bad Salsa, who
rather than being bad, they were clearly the best act of the episode, right?
I was about to say they were my favorite act for two reasons: the performance and the background, which was freaking gorgeous. Like this was like this is what I think of when I think of these backgrounds. Like it was just so epic and it was beautiful. It almost reminded me of like Beauty and the Beast, like on like a lot of caffeine. You know what I mean? Like it was it felt like it had that energy, but it was like just turned to 100. Like it was just so fun.
This was for me the only true act of the episode that if you put all of the acts from the whole season in this group, this is the only act of the episode that I would personally have voted into for top 10.
I wouldn't. No, they would have gotten my vote by far of this episode. I do think though they are one mistake away from going home. Like even one toe out of line.
If they're perfect for going home next round, and the reason is because they're not in the U.S., they're abroad.
No, it's because AGT sucks.
My reason is we could say one of the symptoms, one of the cause, but whatever.
Yeah. Dance acts, they just get such a short end of the stick. Like the amount of effort, like this girl's getting flipped all over the place, and my God, like I can't even like touch my head with my foot. Like, jealous. Anyway, we move on to Vincent Marcus, and this was like, this was like when you're at a party and someone starts telling jokes, but they start getting like really politically incorrect, and you start going like, ooh, like no, like you just slowly start like going, no, don't. Like this was just, it had that energy. It was nothing like that, but it was just, it had that like, as I was watching this, like the energy just started going, like it just went straight down, and I was like, no. What did you think?
I mean, I hate rap in general. I will say his Snoop Dogg impression was spot on. Other than that, I just don't like this act. It's just not the type of thing that I enjoy watching. So even if it was good, I wouldn't have liked it. That's what I'm trying to say.
A few years back, we had two contestants, one on America's Got Talent, one on Britain's Got Talent. I don't exactly remember their names. I'm sure someone in the chat could help me out.
Ball was the Britain's Got Talent one.
He wore a backwards baseball cap. He sang Wrecking Ball. And then there was...
Yeah. I want to say cartoon characters, yeah.
I want to say Daniel was the American version. Azad, I'm sure you know, if anyone, you probably know this contestant. He was like a redhead. He was like... he did Cake by the Ocean and like Kermit the Frog. This felt like it was trying to do that, but just not succeeding at all. Like the something was wrong. Like the energy was off. And at the start, I was like, okay, where is this going? And like I said, it was like at that party when things just start slowly turning against it. Like you can see the cards starting to fall down. You're just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Let's talk about our Duncan save / judges save loser, shall we?
They are Alexis Brownlee and the Puppy Pals. This act is such a retread. We get like a retread of this act every season. It's the same thing, the same tricks. How she's 9 years old? I don't believe a 9-year-old trained this dog. I believe she probably had her friends, her family kind of helping her with it. Am I right, Eric?
Of course.
All right. Well, what did you think of this performance?
It was a dog act. We've seen a million dog acts. There was nothing special about this dog act. It was just a dog act. So I'm into the technology stuff, and so my favorite running gag on a tech website I read called The Verge is every time they review an iPad, they just say it's an iPad over and over again. I'm going to steal that and say this is a dog act. You know what a dog act is. You might like the dog act. You've seen a dog act before. You know what a dog act is. This is a dog act.
Daniel Ferguson. Yes, Azad. That was his name. Anyway, for the dog act, it's just nothing special. Like, this is where, like, this show has kind of, like, polluted our minds, Eric, is what I think has happened. It's because we've watched this show so year after year. I think this America's Got Talent is a show you watch once in your lifetime. Like you stick for one season and then you just don't watch it because otherwise it just gets repetitive. Do you think so?
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, this episode is such a downer. Who would have thought? All right. Well, the next act is it just gets worse and worse. Bonavega. All right, or it gets better as maybe Eric wants to look at it. Bonavega, he is. I don't know what he is, but this performance was giving me like super 80s workout video vibes. Like that's what I was getting. Like I was waiting for him to start telling me to do push-ups.
Okay. I will say he was an excellent guitar player. So there's that. But
that's the episode title. There's that. Or not. Eric, I don't get to choose the episode title. That is all in Eric's hands. I'm like a little minion, like hoping, throwing my requests out into the void.
Hans, but an 80s version. Yeah.
No, I disagree. It's 80s workout video vibes. Like that's what it was for me. Like it was super.
I will say, Bonavega or whatever his name is has actual talent though, because his guitar playing was really good. Hans didn't really have actual talent, other than being a really funny comedian.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. Why are you ripping on Hans?
He was hilarious. He just wasn't a good singer at all. But he wasn't trying to be. He was being a comedian.
All right, well, let's move on to Spyro Brothers. Diablo. I was gonna say they do Diablo, which is like, you know, like the things you see on like street.
Diablo.
What?
The show DiaBlows.
Look at you, Eric. Are we making jokes now? We've got Eric's got puns. Oh, Grace. Grace in the chat says he's Hans with a mullet. I love that. Anyway, what'd you think of the Spyro Brothers, Eric?
They're good, I guess. I mean, it's again. This was a talented act, just not my thing at all. which is like they're good. I mean, they're good. It was cool, but could you watch it for an hour? I couldn't.
I could watch it for like 10 minutes. And then I just like get dizzy.
I can watch it for like about 5 minutes before I would get really bored.
No, I would get like dizzy. Like you're spinning. I feel like here's an idea. Maybe they could use them as hypnotizing devices. Like they could. You are all going to vote for us.
Say, I don't even know.
Azad said that was his favorite act in the episode of the night. To each his own. I just that's what I got. This is what I got.
Shrug emoji. Let's move on to
Daniella Tulishova. This was the girl who I said like she had the accent, right?
I mean, yes. Clearly she has an accent. I didn't watch her talk.
But no, I was saying like you knew she was good because she had an accent. Because that meant she had been that's what I was saying. Like that means they had casted her from somewhere else.
Yes.
All right, go on.
So the thing is, she's got a really nice voice, but I had trouble connecting with this one. I think the song choice didn't help, and now I'm going to give MJ a compliment for 2 acts in a row after kind of busting her a little bit on the Kelvin is a dancer thing. But MJ was spot on about my issue with this act, which is that the enunciation of, look at me, having trouble enunciating the word enunciate.
It's irony.
Mm-hmm.
Well, personally, there was just nothing here. Like this song.
No, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, it wasn't my issue with it was that she's 14 singing about something that she's never experienced, probably.
Yeah, this song just didn't do her any favors. It was a weird song choice, like you said, for someone her age, and it doesn't for a song like this. I don't think it has that much range.
It doesn't.
Like it kind of just stays the same. Like it doesn't.
A rangy singer. This song was not meant for her, and the enunciation was a problem. Having said that, if 5 acts had to go through, I'm happy she did because she does have talent.
I feel like she needed like a Billie Eilish song, which I almost feel like that comparison is probably made before. Was it?
That is actually that would be worse. A Billie Eilish song would be worse because those have no range whatsoever.
She could do like When the Party Is Over, or there's some good ones.
No, that's a false.
I'm spitballing here, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
We move on to Jonathan Goodwin. As I say his name, Eric just lets out a long sigh. He is a danger act, and I was bored. What about you?
I kind of fast forwarded through this one, I'll be honest.
Was it because you didn't want to see the danger, or because you were actually just bored?
It was because I didn't want to see the danger, and then I've been reading what MJ said. I should have probably watched it because it wasn't that dangerous. I'm just going to quote MJ for this one. Whatever he doused himself with before the stunt, which he claimed to be fuel, was obviously some kind of flame retardant, because otherwise he would have died when the flames caught his clothes. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that one.
The thing is, danger acts just... I can't connect. I find them boring because whenever you have an act, I can tell you it's about 95% explaining the danger, 5% the actual danger.
Doing the trick.
Like it's just, and now I'm going to be in there are going to be locks. I'm not going to everything. It's just explaining, and then it just happens and it's over. And then I was like,
mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel anything. I know the only time a danger act worked for me is when it didn't work on that on like a few because that made me be like
shot. Oh my god, that didn't.
Yeah,
work.
when he got
that was awful.
No, but that was good because I was so used to them always working. Like I needed like a reminder that it couldn't work.
Someone actually could get hurt.
Yeah, because when you watch these shows and everything always goes right, as awful as it is, you need like one thing to go wrong to remind you, oh, this could really be dangerous. But here I didn't feel it. I was just like, of course he's gonna get out. You know.
Yep.
We move on to the Voices of Our City Choir. And this was, like I said, every act had something weird about them. So they are performing Stand By Me, which, by the way, I really don't like this song when it's performed like on these shows. I don't know why. This is what there's some songs that whenever I see them like on a list that's going to be performed, I'm just immediately turned off. Like I just don't. It's not a song that really impresses me. And when I saw they were doing it, I was like, But then they have it to make it even weirder. They have the 4 solo artists in the middle of the stage, and then through some weird editing, or I don't even know what was going on, probably because of social distancing, they had the choir itself kind of like edited in the back. I'm sure they like filmed it twice. And look, I get that they did it because of COVID-19, but at the same time, I feel like we're bending the rules a little bit here.
Yes.
Anything to add?
The guy who just talked really bugged me for some reason and didn't sing. That just bugged me. Other than that, the 3 leads had nice voices and the visuals were neat.
Yeah, visuals. I will say, the acts, the performances, say what you will. The visuals, this entire episode, like 10 out of 10. Like I loved it. That was the strongest part of the episode.
And that's not good considering it's about talent, not about visuals. So.
Yeah. It just feels weird. Like, how did we get here, Eric? Like, America's Got Talent. What has brought us to this point? And don't say COVID. You could say it's COVID-19, but if
everywhere.
Yeah, this is not COVID. This is the
this is a lackluster slate of talent.
And I just don't feel anything. Like I used to like this show. Like I genuinely used to like
love this show. And like rant time. So I'm going to see my first live concert of my first live concert in months tomorrow. Assuming it doesn't thunderstorm, which it better not. So it's a local band that I've seen. I've seen several times now. They're called Subradio. They're awesome. And they auditioned for AGT a couple years ago. And they never got seen. And they are better than any actress on the show this year, the past year, or the year before. So my thing is the audition process isn't good. Clearly, because if they're weeding out people like this band that I know, who else are we weeding out?
What I would like is to go back to basics. Have the people stand on the line, like have the plants, I think, are what's overdoing it. I think the show is trying so hard to find the variety that they're not going for the genuine talent. They're looking for a checklist.
We're looking for stories and not talent.
But that's sort of what the show has just become. Like that's it. We had a golden buzzer who was just telling a story.
Yes.
Like I'm telling you, how the AGT I used to love ended with Howard Stern leading it. From there, it was just.
Yep.
But yeah, looking forward, can you give me, is there some some pot of gold at this end of is there some pot of gold at the end of this really bad rainbow that we're heading towards? Is there something next week coming up that we can look forward to?
I think our winner's performing next week, Christina Ray. I mean, whether or not that's something we look forward to or not, I don't know, but
How many more episodes do we have left of the quarterfinals?
2.
2.
2 more
and
weeks.
then. So wait, how many acts are we gonna have left then?
About 20.
About 20, but we're gonna have to get 1 wild card or 3 wild cards.
I think 1 wild card.
I will say I saw on Reddit a poll like who should be the America's Got Talent wild card, and one was like Kelvin Dukes, the kid with the guitar from last week, Fred.
Has to be the wild card.
And I was looking at it and I just started laughing because you guys have no idea. Like, you know who the wild card's going to be? It's going to be some guy who was just cutting the auditions. They're just going to bring him back. Like when a contestant was cut, they don't come back. They're just going to bring back a filler act.
Probably not. Who knows? All I know is that the wild card should be Thang. It won't be, but it should be. Anyway.
Do you remember there was one season? Azad, if you're the only one who might know this because I don't. There was one season where I think it was a Danger motorcycle act where they just kept getting wild cards and brought back like 3 times. Do you remember this?
No.
There was one act, I'm telling you, it was just constantly brought back and people were like, there were other acts everyone was rooting for. It wasn't
Bella and Annalise Knock, was it?
No, it was like motorcycles. It was like some Danger act. It was a few years ago and everyone was like, oh, we're going to have this person as the wild card. And it was just because you got to understand, America's Got Talent doesn't look at wild cards to bring someone who is cut back. They look at it as someone who can just be a number to go home. Like that's just how the show is. Yeah. And the sooner you can learn that fact, the more easier you'll be able to accept it when your favorite goes home and they're just not going to come back. Like, that's just how the show is, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, anything else to talk about from the episode, from the week? Any big notes you kind of want to hit?
Not really. I mean, we can make with a reality half hour and just move on.
Anyway, I'm Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox or on my website, adamsoapbox.com, and my YouTube channel where I just posted a new video this week. What about you, Eric? Where can we find you?
EricAscher.com, bit.ly/EricLoveds, Eric_Ascher on Twitter.
All right. Well, Eric, this was an episode of AGT.
Technically, yes, it was an episode of America's Got Talent. There was no talent. It didn't prove that America's Got Talent, but it was technically a show called America's Got Talent. So
it certainly was, Eric. That just certainly was a show.
That was on for an hour and a half without commercial, and there were judges, there were contestants, and things happened.
Until next time.
Bye.